Hello, students, and welcome to our April 26th lesson. We'll start with our do now, where we have an interesting question about loving others unconditionally. Our objective will be to solve those equations by combining like terms. And so our central question naturally is, how can combining like terms make solving equations easier? For our assignment, I want you to complete the do now. I want you to complete the work page and the exit ticket, and make sure that you show me your work. That's always the most important. If you don't finish it in class, you can finish for homework. However, you still need to show me whatever you've done in class, finished or not, show it to me. That's how you get your credit. So also for fourth quarter, make sure you complete all your quizzes in teams, and make sure you show all your work to me. For your exit ticket, I have a memorization activity for you. I want you to memorize this sentence. To be alike, terms must have the same variable and the same exponent. So we need the same variable with the same exponent. But like terms can also be numbers that don't have variables. We call them constants. So let's get back to our lesson. Okay, National Pets Day today. Some people say that pets give us unconditional love. They love us when we are at our best or when we're not behaving well. Is it possible to love someone, a person, unconditionally? Are some people easier to love than others? So, it's okay to think about that and write something about that right here. Now, today we're combining like terms to solve equations. Remember, terms must have, they can either be numbers or variables, but they have to be the same variable or combination of variables with the same exponents. So here we have negative 4x plus 5. Those are like terms, so we can combine those. So negative 4 plus 5 equals 1. So that would be 1x. That becomes an invisible x equals negative 5. And when we have x equals a number, our work is done. Not negative x, it has to be positive x. So it looks like our work is done. Number 2, 8k plus 4k equal negative 12. Well, 8k plus 4k is 12k equals negative 12. So we're going to need to divide both sides by k. I'll change my color for that. Divide by 12. That isolates the k, which now equals negative 12 divided by 12, positive 12, is negative 1. Number 3, negative 7 equals 5r plus 2r. 5r plus 2r equals 7r. So negative 7 equals 7r. And we will divide by 7, positive 7, in order to isolate that r. So that means r equals negative 1. And I like to write it this way with the variable on the left. It's not a mandatory thing, but that's the way I like to do it. Number 4, we have negative 8 minus 5. Remember, if we're looking at a number line and we have 0 and we have negative 8 and we're subtracting 5, we have to go 5 more units to the left, which brings us to negative 13. So that would be negative 13r equals 13. And then we will divide both sides of this equation by negative 13. Make sure you include the negative. And that means that r equals negative 1. Getting a lot of practice with those ones today, but that's important. Number 5, we have negative 21 equals negative 3 plus 2a plus 4a. We cannot combine the 3, but we can combine the 2a and the 4a. So negative 21 equals negative 3 plus 6a. Now we say, what is happening to 6a? Well, that negative 3 is being added to it. So I'm going to go ahead and it's being subtracted, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and add it. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other. So negative 21 plus 3 is negative 18 equals 6a. Now we ask again, what is happening to a? A is being multiplied by 6. The inverse operation to multiplication is division, so I will divide by 6. And negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. And on the right side, I have my a isolated, and I'm going to rewrite that as a equals negative 3. In number 6, I have 7 minus b minus 8 equals 9. Well, I cannot combine the negative b with anything, but 7 minus 8 combines to make negative 1. We still have minus b equals negative 9. So we need to isolate the negative b. So first we're going to add 1 to both sides. That gives us negative b equals negative 8. Now, b is not isolated until b is positive. So we will divide by negative 1. Now b is isolated, and b equals negative 8 divided by negative 1 is a positive 8. So number 7. 7 equals negative 6 plus 6y plus 7. Negative 6 plus 7 equal 1. So we have 7 equals 1 plus 6y. We need to isolate that 6y. So 1 is being added to 6y. We will subtract the 1. And whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, which gives us 6 equals 6y. We still need to ask what is happening to y, and y is being multiplied by 6, which means we will use the inverse of multiplication, which is division. We'll divide both sides by 6, and that means 6 over 6 equals 1, so 1 equals y, and I'm going to rewrite that as y equals 1. It's a positive 1. Number 8, I have 5x minus 6 plus 4. So I can combine not the 5x, but I can combine minus 6 plus 4 is minus 2. And now I ask, what is happening to 5x? Well, 2 is being subtracted, so I'm going to add 2, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Negative 2, positive 2 equals 0, which gives me 5x equals 15. And now I again ask, what is happening to x? X is being multiplied by 5, which means I will divide by 5. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And x equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then number 9, 6 minus x minus 4 equals negative 2. So this is an invisible 1 in front of the x, just so we remember that. But I cannot combine that with anything. I have 6 minus 4, which I can combine. So 6 minus 4 is 2, so I have 2 minus x equals negative 2. What is happening to x? Well, what is happening to negative x? 2 is being added, so I need to subtract 2. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So that gives me negative x equals negative 4. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. And now I need to divide both sides by negative 1 in order to isolate x, which now negative 4 divided by negative 1 is 4, so x equals 4. And finally, number 10, 7 minus 8p minus 3 equals negative 12. So I can combine 7 minus 3, which is 4. I still have that negative 8p equals negative 12. So what's happening to that negative 8p? Well, 4 is being added, so I'm going to subtract 4. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other. So 4 minus 4 equals 0. I bring down my negative 8p equals negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16. So now what is happening to p? It is being multiplied by -8. So I will use the inverse operation of a division to divide by -8, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other, which leaves me with p equals -16 divided by -8 equals 2. So remember, I do have a little extra. If you finish early, we've got some Jackson Pollock art and some pet names to unscramble. But let's for now go back to that exit ticket, and I want you to memorize this. To be alike, terms must have the same variable and the same exponent. Like terms can also be numbers without variables. Say that at least 6 times, and you will have it memorized. Thank you for your hard work today. You guys are doing a great job. And remember, it takes practice, practice, practice. And with practice, you'll be great.